Welcome to Hero Villains. In your opinion, what happens when Thanos, the Mad Titan, faces Ares, the god of war of Olympus? Determining the winner in a battle between Thanos, the insane giant burdened with the balance and destruction of the universe, and Ares, the primordial god of war, the embodiment of conflict and bloodlust in mythology, is a difficult problem. A collision between two forces of violence. One side is a cosmic entity, a scientist, a warrior, and at times a god of destruction, who has spent millennia conquering, slaughtering, and attempting to save the universe by erasing half of all life. The other is a personified abstract concept, a magical primordial entity existing alongside the very history of life itself, whose existence is nourished by every drop of spilled blood, every curse uttered in rage, and every war from tribal conflicts to multiversal scale battles. In short, let us dissect this monumental war.
First, Thanos, the madman of the universe, the tyrant of Titan. As many know, Thanos is not merely a villain. He is an inevitable catastrophe, a dark destiny hanging over the entire universe. Born on Titan, the moon of Saturn, carrying the bloodline of the Eternals but mutated by the deviant gene, Thanos entered the world with a grotesque appearance, a superior intellect, and a terrifying obsession with the abstract entity known as Mistress Death. His loneliness and intelligence surpass that of every race in the universe. Thanos is a genius scientist, a master strategist, a supreme hand-to-hand combatant, and a spiritual entity capable of communicating with levels of existence beyond space and time itself. In terms of physical power, even in his base state, Thanos is a monster. He possesses strength comparable to, and at times greater than, the most powerful physical warriors in the universe, such as Hulk and Thor. He has fought Odin in direct combat, knocked back Celestials, and endured attacks capable of annihilating an entire solar system while suffering little more than superficial wounds. His skin is nearly impervious to conventional weapons, and his endurance allows him to battle endlessly for centuries. Yet, raw muscle is merely the most modest layer of the purple giant's power. Thanos' true weapon lies in his intellect and vast reservoir of cosmic knowledge. He understands quantum mechanics, time travel, soul manipulation, and the darkest secrets of the multiverse. He does not need to defeat you with brute force if he can manipulate reality and reduce you to nothingness. However, the true nature of Thanos emerges when he gains access to cosmic artifacts, most notably the Infinity Gauntlet. When wielding all 6 Infinity Stones, Thanos ceases to be a living being within the universe. He becomes the universe. He reaches a state of omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence within the scope of his multiverse. With the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos effortlessly defeated and imprisoned the highest abstract entities such as Eternity, Infinity, Galactus, and even the Living Tribunal. He can snap his fingers and erase half of all life, or rewrite the laws of physics, turn stars into cotton candy, or stretch a single moment into eternity. At that point, Thanos' power is no longer about destroying matter. It becomes the erasure of concepts. He can remove the very concept of an opponent's existence from the timeline, ensuring they were never born at all. But the pinnacle of Thanos' power does not end with the Infinity Gauntlet. In events such as the end and heart of the universe, Thanos reached levels of power that made even creator entities tremble. After merging with the heart of the universe, Thanos absorbed the entirety of the Marvel multiverse, including the Living Tribunal and the abstract entities. In this state, he stood equal to, and perhaps beyond, omniversal level beings. He could perceive every timeline, every possibility, and manipulate them like strands of a spider's web. Thanos' resurrection is also a mystery. He has died countless times, been torn apart, and been absorbed into other dimensions, yet his will and essence always find a way to return. He is bound by some form of destiny, a curse that prevents him from truly disappearing until this universe itself collapses. Thanos' psychology is a labyrinth of madness and logic. He is not evil for the pleasure of cruelty. He is evil because he believes he is carrying out a noble mission. He views destruction as a form of salvation, a way to balance the equation of the universe. His arrogance is his only weakness, but even that arrogance is a survival instinct of an entity that sees itself as the center of all things. Thanos is the embodiment of cold calculation. His ultimate weapon is not his muscles, but his mind. He is a master strategist who is always 10 steps ahead of his opponents. He understands the nature of power and the weaknesses of every adversary. More importantly, the weapon that allows Thanos to confront and defeat cosmic entities is his willpower and his astonishing innate ability to manipulate energy. The mind of Thanos is an impregnable fortress, protected by his own madness and iron will. He has resisted the mind control of Moondragon, one of the most powerful telepaths in the Marvel Universe, and even dominated the psychic universe itself while wielding the Mind Stone. On one occasion, he was defeated by Champion of the Universe, an entity possessing nearly limitless physical strength. But rather than falling into despair, Thanos analyzed his opponent and realized that Champion, despite his immense power, lacked true combat skill. In their rematch, he capitalized on that weakness. He has also survived a direct confrontation with Odin, the All-Father of Asgard, an entity with the power to destroy entire galaxies. Not only did Thanos survive, but he was able to stand firm and endure attacks from Gungnir, a weapon capable of piercing anything.
I truly hope you will subscribe to the channel. It would help us tremendously. And you are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
Now let us talk about Ares, the god of war of Olympus. As mentioned earlier, Ares is not merely a powerful warrior. He is the living embodiment of the very concept of war itself. The Olympian gods are not simply long-lived and powerful beings. They are spiritual entities whose power is nourished and intimately tied to the worship and belief of mortals, as well as to the very domain they represent. For Ares, this means that his power is limitless and ever-changing, increasing exponentially wherever conflict, violence, and bloodshed are present. Every brawl, every battle, every interstellar war is a direct prayer that strengthens the god of war. As a warrior, he is often placed on the same level as Superman, or even above him when the god is at the peak of his fury. Ares has broken Superman's arm, defeated the entire Justice League, and engaged in direct combat with cosmic entities such as Darkseid. The power of Ares has no fixed limit. It is directly proportional to the amount of violence and conflict occurring throughout the universe. A world war could elevate Ares to the level of a supreme deity, but a multiversal war where billions of lives are slaughtering one another every second would transform Ares into a virtually omnipotent entity within his own domain. He can alter his size from that of an ordinary man to the scale of a galaxy, and his physical strength is capable of tearing space apart with a single swing of his axe. He has existed and fought for millennia, accumulating experience from every conflict in human history, as well as the wars of the gods. He has mastered every weapon ever created, from swords, spears, and axes to the advanced weapons of alien civilizations. Yet, his preferred weapons remain the primitive and brutal instruments of war, those that reflect the true nature of warfare: chaos, bloodshed, and direct confrontation. The physical strength of Ares in his base state is already comparable to that of Hercules, a god capable of lifting the entire island of Manhattan. He can deliver blows that shake mountains and withstand attacks capable of leveling cities. He possesses planetary-scale mind manipulation, spreading hatred, paranoia, and bloodlust into the minds of billions of beings with a mere snap of his fingers. He can transform the most peaceful individuals into savage killers. Ares does not need to defeat you himself. He will make you tear apart your own allies in madness. The immortality and resurrection of Ares operate on a conceptual level, similar to abstract entities. You cannot kill war simply by killing a god. Throughout the countless times he has been defeated by Wonder Woman, Superman, or other gods, Ares has always found a way to return. He may be imprisoned within dark dimensions or sealed by the oldest and most powerful spells, but as long as a drop of blood is spilled, a curse is uttered, or a war erupts, Ares will be reborn from that very concept. He has even been stripped of his power and transformed into a mortal, yet the essence of war within him always finds a way to break every chain. The immortality of Ares is a curse upon the universe. He is a god, and as long as war exists as a concept within the minds of sentient beings, he will always find a way to resurrect or recreate himself. Furthermore, Ares possesses the ability to manipulate the mystical energies of Olympus. He can generate energy explosions, teleport to any place where war exists, shapeshift, and even manipulate the emotions of weaker beings, amplifying their rage and violence, turning allies into enemies and transforming battlefields into bloody fields of chaos. His very presence on a battlefield acts as a catalyst for disorder. Merely appearing is enough for even the most disciplined warriors to be consumed by blind bloodlust. He understands the fears, greed, and jealousy of every conscious being. He has deceived the Olympian gods themselves and manipulated multiversal events such as Crisis on Infinite Earths and Infinite Crisis from the Shadows. Ares is a patient predator, one who plants the seeds of destruction within the minds of his enemies centuries before the actual war begins. His ability to manipulate conflict makes him an extraordinarily dangerous opponent because those who face him are not only fighting Ares himself, but also the primal instincts he has awakened within them. This is where the battle becomes truly interesting. We have Thanos, a machine of destruction driven by a cold genius intellect and a cosmic will, and we have Ares, a storm of chaos and violence personified, whose power is directly proportional to the scale of the conflict itself. In terms of raw physical strength and energy in their base forms, Ares may hold a slight advantage due to his ferocity and adaptability in combat. Ares is a warrior who has fought since the earliest days of the universe. He understands every weapon, every fighting technique, and possesses the ability to absorb energy from the aggression of his opponents. If Thanos fights with anger, Ares becomes stronger. However, base Thanos is a scientist and a cold, calculating warrior. He does not allow emotions to control him. He will analyze, identify weaknesses in Ares' divine magic, and use cosmic technology or dark sorcery to contain him rather than engage in a direct contest of strength. In a purely physical battle without artifacts, Ares could inflict serious injuries upon Thanos thanks to his divine weapons, which are capable of harming conceptual entities. Yet Thanos, with his endurance and intellect, would turn the conflict into a war of attrition, where neither side could permanently destroy the other. However, we must also consider Thanos wielding the Infinity Gauntlet, or equivalent artifacts such as the Heart of the Universe, against Ares at his peak state, when he has absorbed the entire concept of war across the multiverse. The Infinity Gauntlet grants Thanos control over reality, time, space, mind, soul, and power. Ares, on the other hand, manipulates the concept of conflict and divine magic. Within Marvel, the Infinity Gauntlet possesses absolute authority over its universe. Thanos could use the Reality Stone to rewrite the laws of existence, transforming the concept of war into peace, or use the Soul Stone to drain away the divine essence of Ares. If Thanos chose to erase Ares, he could simply snap his fingers and remove him from reality. But this is where the conceptual nature of Ares becomes significant. Ares is not merely a god. He is part of the cosmic equation itself. In the DC universe, erasing a fundamental concept such as war could cause the collapse of reality's structure because conflict serves as a driving force behind evolution and change. Furthermore, Ares possesses the ability to manipulate minds and emotions. He can peer into Thanos' loneliness, his obsession with death, and his inner torment. Ares does not attack the body of Thanos. He attacks the mind of the giant. He whispers into Thanos' ear, planting seeds of doubt, causing him to question the righteousness of his mission to balance the universe, or driving him into a furious rage. And when Thanos becomes enraged, Ares can absorb that immense emotional energy from a cosmic level being. Nevertheless, we cannot overlook the intelligence and ruthlessness of Thanos. Thanos is no fool. He has confronted conceptual entities such as eternity and understands how to manipulate them. If Thanos realizes that directly attacking Ares only makes the God of War stronger, he will change his strategy. Thanos will not fight Ares himself. He will fight the source of Ares. Using the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos could travel back through time to a point before the concept of war was born and prevent the formation of Ares. Alternatively, he could use the Time Stone to trap Ares within an endless temporal loop where Ares continuously witnesses the destruction of everything he cherishes, a reality in which every war ends in the absolute stillness of the void, depriving Ares of the very nourishment that sustains his existence. Consider Thanos' feats against abstract entities. He has defeated Ego the Living Planet, not merely through raw power, but by attacking the very brain of the living world itself. He has deceived Mephisto within Mephisto's own domain. He has resisted the omnipotence of the psychic universe. These accomplishments demonstrate that Thanos does not simply battle bodies, he battles souls and concepts. To defeat Ares, Thanos would need to create a paradox. He could use his power to establish a zone of silence, a barrier in which the concept of conflict itself is neutralized. He could use cosmic energy to seal Ares within a dimension without time, without life, and therefore without war. Or, with a will that has once subdued infinity itself, he could simply overwhelm the mind of Ares and force the God of War to experience absolute peace, something that would tear apart his very essence. Ares' greatest advantage is chaos and emotional manipulation. The rage of Thanos, although tightly controlled, remains a potential weakness. His obsession with death, his self-hatred, and his underlying madness are fertile ground for Ares to sow disorder. Throughout history, Thanos has resisted every form of mind control. But Ares does not control minds. He stirs them. He does not command you to be angry. He merely opens the door to the fury that already exists within you. And Thanos possesses an abundance of fury. If Ares can cause Thanos to lose control, even for a single moment, the balance of the battle changes. A Thanos blinded by rage would abandon his strategic advantages and charge into a prolonged and brutal conflict. That is precisely Ares' domain, where every passing second strengthens the God of War even further. However, this confrontation is not a conventional battle. It is a confrontation against an opponent who does not follow the rules of war. Thanos is not a warrior seeking glory or a general pursuing victory on the battlefield. He is a conqueror searching for a solution, and the solution to Ares is not defeating him in war, it is eliminating war itself. In a genuine conflict where both sides are bleeding and fighting endlessly, Ares could very well become unstoppable, but Thanos would never allow such a battle to occur. For these reasons, with his superior strategic vision and his ability to attack the very conceptual nature of his opponent, Thanos, the Mad Titan, holds the decisive advantage and ultimately emerges victorious. If Ares is the storm, then Thanos is the eternal silence that consumes every storm.
I hope you enjoyed this battle. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section. Be sure to follow me if you enjoyed the content. That is today's video. Thank you very much.